call this meeting to order. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Village of McBride, May 12th, 2015. The first order of business is the introduction of late items. We have Rick Thompson from the Rural Advisory Council. Would like to provide council with his role as a member on that council and to request a meeting with council for input prior to their June meeting. So Rick, we'll put that under delegation then. All right. Just do it this way. There we go. Okay, and I don't need a motion for that, do I?
Approval of the agenda.
Okay, so just as with that. So can I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
Motion.
Second. Made by Edie, seconded by Sharon. All in favor? Carried. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the April 28th meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Made by Edie, seconded.
I'll second
There we go, Ron.
it.
Okay, are there any errors or omissions? No. Sorry. Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Next item on the agenda is delegation. So, Rick, you're up.
Thank you, Council, for allowing me to sit on the agenda today with such short notice. I just wanted to reintroduce myself. It's Rick Thompson. I was appointed to the Rural Advisory Council for the province of British Columbia. And I just wanted to give you some brief information about what the Rural Advisory Council is. There are 14 members on the Advisory Council from rural areas of British Columbia, Dawson Creek, Terrace, Houston, Vanderhoof, McBride, Skidegate, Williams Lake, Kamloops, Agassiz, Armstrong, Cache Creek, Fairmont Hot Springs, Christina Lake, and Port McNeil. And we are sort of diverse around the province from small rural communities. We don't represent communities, we represent rural British Columbia, and our role is to advise the Premier. And the mandate of the Rural Advisory Council is to provide independent and impartial input and advice to the government of BC on matters related to rural development in the province, strengthening rural economies and supporting rural prosperity and thriving rural communities across BC. We've been given basically 3 tasks with our mandate: to provide recommendations to the Premier, the Minister responsible for rural development, and the Parliamentary Secretary for rural development. They will help develop new ideas, opportunities, actions, policies, and legislation that will further support rural business owners, leaders, workers, and families in the province, drive new economic activity and job creation, and reduce barriers facing rural communities and improve the well-being of rural constituents. Mainly, our second objective is to provide advice on how government can work more collaboratively with rural organizations with the goal of creating more rural growth and opportunities. And the initial focus of the Council will be to provide advice on avenues to support greater rural access to capital, stronger business development support for rural entrepreneurs and businesses, and moving towards a rural dividend. Between our meetings that will happen, the first one was in Victoria, the second one is in Richmond, and others are going to be in rural areas of the province. We are to consult with organizations, business owners, First Nations, local government contacts throughout British Columbia for feedback on the government initiatives with respect to supporting rural communities. We had our first meeting in April 23rd and 24th in Victoria. We had a great first meeting. We met with the Premier and Minister Thompson, who reiterated the importance of rural BC, and it was great to meet all the other community members face to face for the first time. We realized that while we all come from different parts of the province, we're united in having a strong vision for rural BC, namely rural prosperity and thriving rural communities. We look forward to our next meeting towards the end of June. It's actually June 16th and 17th. And at that meeting, we'll be discussing, bringing ideas we hear from our communities to that meeting and discussing ways to remove barriers to rural growth and prosperity through a rural dividend. At this point in time, there's no definition of a rural dividend. There's no idea of where a rural dividend is going to come from. It's a wide open topic, but it's an interesting direction that the government has asked us to look at to help rural small communities stay thriving and grow, because we're experiencing in British Columbia right now that rural British Columbia small communities are decreasing, and the Premier would like to turn that around. Between our meetings, I'll be consulting with local governments, and that's part of the reason I'm here tonight. We'll be consulting with Chamber of Commerce. I'll be talking to Linda later, and consulting with business owners and entrepreneurs to get ideas or inputs of what you might have or what you might see or barriers that you see towards rural prosperity. Some things that have already come up are changes in policy, for example, with regard to school funding in rural communities. A rural dividend could be a change in a policy that changes the funding and puts more money in schools. That was just a discussion that had come up. But it's wide open at this point in time. And so with that in mind, I would like to ask council to put their head around barriers to rural growth and prosperity, and I would like to meet with you and just have a discussion on that regard, and so I can take some information back to my June 16th meeting. And thank you. And I'll answer any questions that you may have.
These meetings, you rotate them like for each town, or you just?
No, we're basically mandated to meet 4 times a year. The first meeting was in Victoria. We meet for 2 days. The next meeting for convenience is in Richmond. Some of us have complained that that's not rural enough. But the mandate was really to try and have the meetings in smaller communities. Part of getting everyone to the meetings is a challenge. I always say that McBride's almost right in the middle. I looked at the map, and the roads come here and go elsewhere, so they can get here. So we don't know yet. There'll be a meeting in June, and then probably July, August, another in September, and then probably December, and then we'll be reporting out to the Premier at that time, I believe. So if possible, it would be good to schedule a meeting prior to June the 16th.
So this would be an ongoing thing, committee keeps going and going. Well, that's just this.
Well, the Rural Advisory Council, we're in terms of reference, and the council is appointed for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
We're hoping to have recommendations to the Premier prior to that time. And then it will be up to the government to decide what they want to do.
Will they give us any more money?
Well, they're talking about a rural dividend, and the dividend could be money.
So this is a 2-year program that just trying out, right?
We're just providing advice to the government on ideas of how part of the problem is that 70% of the wealth of this province is generated in the north, and it doesn't all stay in the north, and many of us would like a larger portion of the pie to stay in the north. And the rural communities are key. It's a lifestyle that people want to live and maintain, and we need our rural communities. But as in, we have not yet discussed what a rural dividend looks like. And that's why I'm looking for input. You may have ideas, it may not just be money, it may be something different, a change in policy. Is there a policy that stops business from investing in small rural communities? What are those things? What are those red tapes, those government policies that we can recommend you get rid of? So it's wide open.
Okay.
All right, well, maybe the best way to set a meeting is we'll have, if you could email our CAO, Bob, and suggest a couple dates, and then we can circulate it and see if we can get council's dates all in order.
Okay? I'm pretty flexible. No, I'm building that. Okay, so I will do that.
All right.
Is there any particular day of the week that works better?
No, I know some work up till about 4:30. Mondays are usually a complete write-off. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays are iffy, so if you could get it between Tuesday and Thursday in the late afternoon, evening would be good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, now we'll move on, don't go anywhere. For questions as per the agenda and sign-up sheet. So Rick, the Elks request for a food booth.
I noticed on the agenda that there's a letter from the Elks requesting food booths being set up for the garbage collection cleanup day in the community, and I think that's fantastic. My biggest concern was the request to have it left there for activities during the summer. The McBride Youth Committee has, for the last 3 years, conducted the Summer Youth Festival on alternating Wednesdays through July and August. And we have tried to have youth groups and youth doing food booths and fundraising for youth activities during that time. And having the booth left there all summer is going to deter others from being able to hook their booths up and possibly do fundraising. In the past, we've had some youth who have had their own food van brought into town. And I've just had a concern that if the Elks booth is there all summer, then there isn't the opportunity for other vendors to do things during the summer.
That would be a good discussion for us to have with the Elks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So moving on to unfinished village business. First of all, we have the collective agreement. The village is still waiting a proposal from CLAC. For the Northern Medical Programs Trust, a nomination has been submitted. For Northern Health, we have sent a letter of support regarding improving ophthalmology service in the north. The Ministry of Energy and Mines expression of interest has been forwarded regarding the Community Energy Leadership Program. The location from the old fire truck, the report from Public Works is attached on 6G. And the McBride and District Chamber of Commerce, a meeting date has been requested. So we'll move on to reports. My report, sorry, I was late getting it off, I've been busy. On April 29th, I participated in a conference call with Minister Bond regarding my idea to have a meet your elected official barbecue. Minister Bond, along with Bob Zimmer, will be attending the barbecue hopefully in July so that local citizens can meet and greet their elected representatives. Shirley indicated that she would be willing to cost share with the village and the regional district, and she is using the idea in other communities as well. So we'll have updates to follow as to exactly when that date is. On Saturday, May 2nd, I met with members of the Library and Museum Project to outline the parameters of how the standing committee will move forward. On Tuesday, May 5th, I attended the Regional District Fraser Fort George Partner and Local Government Elected Official Forum in Prince George to discuss ways in which the regional district can better collaborate with their members. I attended the NCLGA conference, Change, Challenge and Opportunity in Prince George with Councillors Reichart and Tracy from May 6th to 8th. We attended sessions from the Municipal Finance Authority, Municipal Insurance Authority, NDI and Initiatives PG, Geoscience BC, Hell Yeah Prince George, Northern BC Tourism, Legal Considerations Impacting Municipal Revenues by Don Lidstone, and Workplace Law by Harris and Company. The conference was well attended with Ministers Bond, Oakes, Harris, Rustat, and the opposition spokesperson for local government, MLA Selena Robinson, were also in attendance at various times. We also attended all of the resolution sessions, most of which were endorsed, and we will be moving forward to UBCM and or FCM. Minister Bond and Oates announced that the province is providing $250,000 in funding to support event hosting throughout the province. Eligible nonprofits are invited to apply for up to $5,000 for new events or assist existing events that are currently ineligible for other provincial government funding. Event Host BC grant applications and eligibility guidelines can be found online. I've left a copy of it in the back, and there will also be it'll also be available at the front counter, and we'll include it in the next regular agenda package. Councillor Tracy and I were finally able to meet Mayor Gwen Johansson from the District of Hudson Hope, Ms. Fernsat's sister, in case she didn't report to you, because we told her to report.
Oh, she will.
We also took the opportunity while in Prince George to meet with the Northern Health Authority during the conference to discuss our concerns with the lack of doctors and hospital staff. I had previously met with Kelty Carmichael to discuss citizens' concerns, and I'm happy to report we've secured Dr. Flanagan on a 2-week in and out basis until October. During his locum, doctors from Valemont will be filling in on the weeks that the Dr. Flanagan cannot be physically present. I was also informed that Dr. Taylor Martin will be in attendance at McBride Hospital from June to November. Northern Health is also working towards retaining a long-term doctor, and more information will come forward when or if the details are finalized. As doctor retention is paramount importance to our community, Council questioned how we could assist in recruiting. Northern Health suggested that we start by welcoming doctors to the community through potluck dinners, connecting them with locals who enjoy the same activities, working with doctors' families so that they don't feel so isolated when moving to a new community. Councillor Tracy also suggested providing them with a Welcome to McBride and the Robson Valley gift basket. All of those were very well received. We also began discussions around the community paramedicine project that is being piloted in several communities, and will bring more information forward when it becomes available. We also met with Jim Martin and staff regarding the library museum project to discuss taxation, ownership models, and their taxation consequences. The standing committee will be working with regional district staff as we move forward. And last but not least, on Monday, May 11th, Council passed the first 2 readings of the 5-year financial plan and the tax rate bylaw. We will be able to meet all reporting requirements on time. That's my report. Wow. Long-winded, eh? All right, Councillor Bazanzin.
I have nothing to report.
Nothing to report? Okay.
That's the best way to have it. I'm in trouble, not in trouble.
Councillor Rickard?
Well, as usual, I could probably just read yours.
I'll let you go first next time.
I think the only things I didn't attend, or that I attended that you didn't attend, was the bench commemoration at the train station and the OAP lunch. And everything else that I attended, I believe you were there as well, the Northern Health, NCLGA, the Regional District Strategic Planning, and the budget meeting last night. So I think everything was what we're saying. No point in me rereading yours.
Okay, on May 1st, I attended the Open Gate Gardens. Just drive by and see what they all have been accomplishing. Looking great gardens and getting excited. May 2nd, I was with the library meeting, very informative and great ideas being put forward. The NCLGA was really great ideas, great group of people, and learned a lot. On May 10th, I went to the Dunster yard sale. Couldn't ask for better weather and company. And Karen has provided me with a note in regards to fire ban in place effective May 13th to August 30th, or until the public is otherwise notified. Notice has been posted on our McBride website and on the village Facebook page. And there's printed out some of the information bulletin, open fire restrictions for anybody who wishes to view them. And that's it for me.
All right. Administration?
I've got a short report, Your Worship. The budget process is all but complete and is on this agenda. The financial plan tax rate bylaws, as you said, have been given first and second readings. The financial reporting requirements have been addressed. I actually spoke with our auditor today, and they're actually sending stuff as we speak. Discussions with council to establish priorities and goals and objectives. Public works discussions to establish capital requirements and priorities. Council has chosen a new CAO, and we will be appointing her at this meeting. We have pre-posted for a chief financial officer / deputy CAO. Other positions will not be posted until a collective agreement is ratified. Bylaws and policy reviews as required, ongoing consultation and assistance with council. With administration, I've signed a rental agreement with Optimum Resource Management, which is Randy McFarland, to rent a portion of the old forestry building, and I'm going to be meeting tomorrow, I believe, with Mr. Gonzalez regarding the school buses, renting additional space there. Assisting the interim treasurer as required, and liaison with Northern Health and NDIT. I had a conversation with them today about our grant funding availability and stuff. And liaison with the regional district, approving officer, building inspector met with today. And ongoing discussions with residents regarding local issues and concerns.
Financial report?
That was a cover. As you can see attached, you have your check listing. I'm hoping to have for you, after the budget has been approved, an update status of where the budget is by the next meeting.
Public Works, we have Travis into his new reporting requirements. That's these. And he's not here. We also have nothing from the fire chief or the police or the community forest or the Chamber of Commerce at this time. So can I get a motion to receive the reports? Moved by Edie. Seconded by Sharon. All in favor? Carried. Alrighty, moving on to correspondence. The Robson Valley Region Program named Best in BC. That's on page 7A of your agenda. So the marketing initiative designed to promote economic opportunities in the Robson Valley has been recognized by the BC Economic Development Association as the best community project for a population of less than 20,000. So could I get a motion that the Village of McBride forward a letter of congratulations? Moved by Sharon, seconded by Edie. Am I going in, Ralphie?
Yeah, I'm reading it.
Okay.
Sorry.
All in favor? Carried. And from 7B to D, we have Northern Health, Heart and Stroke Foundation, and FCM for information purposes only. Any comments or questions on those? No? Okay. Hearing none, I'll move on. Outgoing, we have no correspondence at this time. The 8th item on the agenda is council notice of resolutions. We have none at this time. And on to number 9, bylaws, permits, and policies. Number 8, the zoning amendment bylaw 755, which is the CCAM bylaw, that we have a report attached. Council has requested to set a date for a committee of the whole meeting to discuss containers. Do I need a motion for that, Bob?
No, just would like a date that council would like to meet as a committee of the whole, so we can get this bylaw on the table for the next agenda, hopefully.
Alrighty, so how about we do it on Tuesday the 12th?
That's too.
Oh, no, sorry, I'm thinking next Tuesday, going
The
backwards.
19th?
19th.
Yeah, that works for me.
7 o'clock, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll set it for 7 PM on Tuesday, May 19th. Let's see here. All right, and moving on, we are on to our third readings of our financial plan and our tax rate bylaw. I need a motion to give the third reading to the financial plan bylaw number 756, 2015, and the tax rate bylaw 757, 2015. Moved by Edie, seconded by Sharon. All in favor? Carried. And final adoption of the budget meeting will be at a special meeting at 7 PM tomorrow here in council chambers for anybody that's interested. Item C is a Board of Variance issue and a report from the CAO.
I have a report under 9C. The Local Government Act requires that where council has a zoning bylaw, it has to appoint or establish a Board of Variance. The Board of Variance consists, in the case of McBride, 3 persons that would be appointed by council for 3-year terms. And their purpose is to permit variances to relieve hardships created by siting dimensions, site structure alterations, etc. The Board of Variance reports to council but works independently. So I received an application from a fellow for a variance in a setback requirement for the construction of a new home in town. The R2 zone where he wants to build requires a 25-foot setback, and he wants a 20-foot setback because he's blind and would accommodate access better. So I suggested we go through the Board of Variance, and I discovered through my understanding that there isn't a Board of Variance at this time, and instead applications of this type were handled as a development variance permit. But a development variance permit is intended for larger developments where they actually have council make a decision after a public hearing. And so the intent of the Board of Variance is for members of the public to be appointed to allow them to make decisions on small variances. It's not a council authority. And so I'm recommending 2 things. One, in lieu of the lack of the Board of Variance, I would like council's consideration to let this fellow go ahead on the understanding that I would have to get the consent of the adjoining neighbors, which is how Board of Variance work. You notify only the neighbors that are immediately attached. And secondly, that you direct administration to draft a bylaw for presentation at the next meeting.
Okay, so let's do these one at a time here. So we need council authority to approve the application, correct?
Well, council authority to let me approve the application.
Okay, there we go. All right, can I get a motion that council approve Bob's authority to approve the application? So moved by Sharon, seconded by, hi Ralph, how are you doing?
Yeah.
By Ralph. Any other questions or comments? No? All in favor? Carried. And the second part of that is to direct administration to draft a Board of Variance bylaw as required by the Local Government Act for consideration at the next council meeting. Sharon and Edie? All in favor? Carried. Add that to your to-do list.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to number 10, we have the accounts payable report. It's included in 6F for information only. And under new business, the appointment of the new chief administrative officer. A motion that in accordance with section 146 and 147 of the community charter, the council hereby rescind the appointment of Mr. Bob Lafleur and appoints Ms. Kelly Williams as the chief administrative and corporate officer. And the ladies, Sharon and Edie. All those in favor? Carried. Mr. Lafleur will now administer the oath.
Okay, I'm reading from Schedule D of Bylaw 609, 2001, which is the oath of office required for officers of the village. And Kelly, I'm going to just ask you to say your name here after I.
Kelly Williams,
Having been appointed to the office of CAO for the municipality of the village of McBride, do hereby promise and swear.
I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially, to the best of my knowledge and ability, execute the powers, duties, and functions of my office. I will treat all matters and information that comes to my attention as a result of my office in confidence. I have not received, nor will I receive or accept any payment or reward or promise of either in return for the exercise of my powers, duties, and functions, other than as permitted by the municipality. I will not allow my personal interest to conflict with the duties of my office. I will comply with all policies and directives of the municipality and comply with all laws.
Congratulations.
I look forward to working with you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and the next one is a notice of a by-election for one councillor position. Can I get a motion that in accordance with section 37(4) of the Local Government Act, council hereby appoints Ms. Enid Keir as the chief elections officer and Ms. Kelly Williams as the deputy chief elections officer? Read it again. All those in favor? Carried. There is a list following that, if anybody's interested on prospective dates. The general voting date would be tentatively set for Saturday, July 18th. The nomination period in accordance with Section 70 of the Local Government Act will tentatively be from June 2nd to Friday, June 12th. Information will be posted in accordance with the Local Government Act, and council requests that you direct your inquiries to Ms. Enid Keir. Alrighty, and number C, a letter from the McBride, Elks, and Royal Purple, the food booth for the May 30th cleanup day. We need a motion that the McBride and Elks Royal Purple be permitted to operate a food booth pavilion at the pavilion. $6 for a hamburger and pop and $4 for a hot dog and pop. Participants on May 30th get it for free. You don't have to pay for it. And that they be permitted to leave the booth at the pavilion for the remainder of the summer to accommodate other events. Can I get a motion, please? Moved by Edie, seconded by Ralph. Any further discussion? Well, we have to take into consideration Mr. Thompson's comments about the youth committee and the summer youth festivals, and that it may deter others from it. Maybe what we could do is, when we write to the Elks, say that there will be certain days that that the Elks wouldn't be running it, as they would be interfering with the summer youth programs.
Okay.
And when were those? Every other week? Rick?
They were basically every second Wednesday through July and August.
Every second Wednesday in July and August, there'll be an event down there, and the youth will be running a food cart?
They have in the past. Like the grads have done. some
Right, they
fundraising.
had food carts down there, or the popcorn cart?
They've had a variety of things.
Okay.
We'll make note of that when we send a letter to the Elks here. Is everyone in favor of that?
I would worry about vandalism moving it down there all summer.
If they are willing to do so, it would be at their own risk.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Carried. And last item on the agenda, a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Morning.
Not
Okay,
very
thank you everyone for coming out.